teacher shortage, and it's real. And if you look around this room, we are a graying population. And there's not a lot of young people in this group, and we need to grow our own. And 28 years ago, when I applied to this Asheboro City Schools, there were 100 teachers vying for the position that I got. Now, in Family and Consumer Science, we're going outside and we're going everywhere to try to find teachers. So my concern is for the Teacher Cadet Program, which has a fairly low funding, and it was started in 1998 and costs $278,000, and they are requesting for an increase of $400,000 to get juniors and seniors in our high schools dedicated to teaching. Are you behind this increase and supporting it? And are there any other plans for something to help with the teacher shortage? Is that good?
Let me answer. Let me do first off, I can guarantee you every single person here is engaged in the teacher shortage and feeling that. But remember, those of us in low wealth communities have a different set of problems than those folks in high wealth communities. But before I even get into the teacher shortage and some of these specific examples that we're working on, remember, the legislature is just about like your school. You've got teachers and specialists in social studies and math and English. That's the way that we have to work up there too. You got Garland, who's youth and children, does policy there. You got Harris Blake, of course, he's a senator. They don't do much of anything. But you got Doug Young, who's a big approach chair, but for years and years was your approach education guy, did everything that he could to help you. Now he's up in the corner making everybody miserable. You got Miss Dixon, who is your business and commerce chair. Marvin, you're everything. Your education, alcohol, that's enough right there. He's education, policy, and alcohol chair. This man funds every court and every prison in the whole state, Mr. Love. And here's your new education money chair right here in the house. So, well, be nice. I'm nice to him too. The reason I said that real quick, Kim, is because whenever I have an issue about something that you guys need or want, like the questionnaire, who's the first person I call, Kim? I call Kim because I belong to her, and she tells me who to go see, and then I turn right around and call Doug Young or Rick Glazier or whoever it is, the policy issue. Retirement, Hattie mentioned something about retirement. Larry Bell, chairman of the retirement committee in the House, former superintendent of schools in Sampson County, and we work together as a team to try to come up with the best solution to help you. Now, I can't speak for, I'm not speaking for anybody else here, but I can tell you in the House, on my side, there's nothing that's higher priority than education. Not just raising you guys to the national average as quick as we can, but Dana, Doug, am I wrong? Everything that we do, every meeting we open up in our caucus or in our operations focuses on education. It's the first thing out of the box. And I just want to let y'all know that because I don't think we'd have had time to say that. I'll hush.
Are you clapping as far as hushing or what? I wanted to say, this is a very general thing, but a lot of people don't know this. If this were a dollar bill, a tax dollar, does anyone in here know how many cents of our tax dollar we spend on education? It's right around 60. It's gone down a little bit, but education is absolutely the most important thing North Carolina does. Now that doesn't mean that we couldn't do better, and we could certainly spend more if we had more to spend, but it is our first priority. We spend more on education, K through 12, community colleges, and our university system than we do on anything else. And I tell you that just so you'll know that these people and the rest of the people in the General Assembly vote every year to devote the bulk of our budget to education.
Just a couple of points. Margaret Dixon, when I was, before I ever ran for the state legislature, and she and I were talking about it, she got a bumper sticker, which I thought is the best bumper sticker I've ever received. and she said the bumper sticker is, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And so one of the things that we're doing, of the $20 billion budget, almost $8 billion goes to K-12 education in the state. But this year, the Speaker of the House has formed a special study committee with the Senate. It's a joint House and Senate committee, and a number of these people serve on it. And the whole goal of this committee is to review for the first time in years and years and years every single major public school funding formula we have. AIG, EC, at-risk, DSS, low wealth funding formulas, the teacher allotment formula, all of the major formulas. And the goal is to determine three things. Is it efficient? Is it effective? And is it fair? I'm one of those. We'll see the data. I'm convinced there are better ways to do it in many cases than how we're doing it. But I truly believe that it is not just the adequacy of the money. That is critical. But it's also how we go about allocating it. And the shortages that we're talking about cross all boundaries to me. I mean, you've got geographic shortages. Obviously, Wake County has far less problems getting teachers than does Jackson County and does Halifax County. Secondly, you've got the low wealth versus non-low wealth counties. Third, you've got across disciplines. It is difficult to get teachers in lots of ways, but it is even harder to get science and math and EC and foreign language and career and technical education teachers. So I think there are so many different things that we've got to look at, and one of the goals of this study committee is to do just that. I think if we all had the answer, if you all had the answer, we would have enacted what we could to solve those shortages. But it's not going to be one thing. It's going to have to be a whole series of things. And that starts with teacher pay, which to me is exorbitantly low relative to the value of teachers in society. Second, it's about teaching working conditions, as Representative Lucas said. And third, I think it's beyond that. I think it's about the true value that society holds. And we don't spend a very much time relative to what we need to really talk in our communities about what happens when we don't have the best and the brightest teaching anymore. And where our place in society is and in the international order of things if we don't start reinvesting in our teachers and in our professionals across the board in education. So I think you're going to see, maybe not this session, but in preparation for the long session, some very significant changes overall to the way we fund school systems in the state of North Carolina.